Welcome to the Dragon Talk. We have, my name is Yumiko Sakura, and we have English Mystic Kevin today. So we are going to talk about dragons. So first thing I want to talk about is what the general people think of the images of dragon in the East and West. And I'm going to talk about what it is understood or be seen by Japanese people to start with. So, since ancient time, dragon has been treated as a very sacred being in Japan. For instance, Japanese zodiac consists of animals in 12 signs which symbolize their fortune. However, there is the only one fictional creature amongst them, that is dragon. Some shrines enshrine dragon in Japan, and there is a myth about Emperor Jimmu, who is said to be the first emperor in Japan, that he was born from the belly of a dragon. So, dragon has been seen as a very special and sacred and helpful or powerful sort of existence, which is obviously fictional, but somehow they exist in the mountain or in the air. And so it's really quite exciting for people to imagine the dragons around them, or the dragon will be protecting them, even though they can't really see them. They have shrine, and they have people who can teach about dragons in Japan. And it has been a very special, powerful symbol in Japan. So what sort of image of dragon does the general public has in UK and Europe, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, in the UK, I can speak for Europe and I can speak for probably a lot of America, the Americas, and the general public still thinks of dragons as those big, scaly lizards that have got sharp teeth and they've got lots of spikiness. And our dragons, they all have wings, so they're like seen as big, powerful beasts. And often they're massive, so that they're many times bigger than like an elephant, for example. And in our Christian Bible, they're mentioned in terms of almost being like devil creatures, and they're really being seen as those things that should be killed, because they're there. All they do is they hoard gold, and they kill maidens, and they burn down villages. And in the UK, we've got St George, and St George is our patron saint. And there's a picture of him killing a dragon. He's on his horse, and he's got his armor on, he's got his lance, and he's killing the dragon. And the dragon is sort of seen as evil, bad. You don't want anything to do with dragons. So that's sort of the general thought. But it is changing slightly, mainly because you've got people like J.R.R. Tolkien, who's written The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and you've got TV series like Games of Thrones, and you've got a cartoon called Train Your Dragon, and there's lots of video games. And so people's thoughts about dragons are moving slightly, but they're still seen as things that you don't want to know. You want to conquer them. And there's a big thing at the moment where people are talking about killing their inner dragon or empowering their inner dragon. So yeah, really for us, the general public, dragons are seen as something that you don't really want to know. They're sort of the scary creature, the scary beast.
They are seen as demons almost.
Almost, yeah. I mean, certainly in the Bible, they're mentioned a few times, and it's always like the snake, that they're Adam and Eve. They're always seen as not being good things.
Interesting. Okay. In Japan, there is also myth that sort of dragon, but they call it snake rather, but they look like dragon, would take the maiden, or they protect something very special so nobody can touch it.
Right.
But after all, they see it as a very positive symbol. Like in China, I'm not very knowledgeable about Chinese dragon, but they obviously only allow emperor to use the symbol dragon, because it's a symbol of power and symbol of sacredness as well. So it's very interesting to know about European and English dragons. But you still work with those people who are excited about dragons. So maybe people are experiencing their existence in a different way nowadays, not only in movies or games, but also some of them feel the existence of dragon.
Yeah, they definitely do. Did you want to share your picture of your dragon? Because I believe you've got a beautiful dragon,
Oh,
haven't
yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So let
I have
me
to.
let me talk a little bit more about Japanese dragon because we experience dragon more as sort of we want to be their friend. So if you can look at this photo, which is from the movie called Spirited Away, this dragon is a white dragon, which is in the river. This dragon, you can see a girl is on the dragon, and I've been doing that since my childhood as well. But many people see dragon as a mystic and really exciting creature that gives them freedom or some sort of exciting moments or power to do something they never thought they could do. So it is more like a symbol of power and maybe transcendence. So it is quite positive in Japan. And some people really want to be close to dragon to be successful in the world. So it's been really appreciated, dragon. So I was also really surprised since I started to teach about dragon, I wouldn't have thought people would be so interested. But when I started to talk about it, so many people showed interest. And I learned that many people are interested in dragon to wanting to be closer to this existence and wanting to feel if they really exist.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Shall I show you what most of the dragons look like in mythology in England and America? I'll show you it on my
Yeah,
background
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
So as you can see, so most of our dragons are spiky and scaly, and they've got big wings and long tails, and often they have eyes that are quite fiery looking, and they're sort of seen to breathe fire, and
Wow.
very scaly and powerful beings.
Mm.
Yeah, and the majority of people, I think, if they saw a dragon, they would be very afraid.
All right. Do they always have wings?
Yeah, I mean, in our mythology, they do always have wings. We
Oh.
see that the east is the ones that are more wingless.
Yeah, yeah,
Something,
yeah.
yeah. So,
Mm.
but yeah, nearly always seen as having wings.
I think we tend to see dragons are more like really long snake-like creature, and they don't need a wing because they can fly anyway.
Yeah,
So English and American European dragon obviously looks a bit shorter, like more like lizard with having large wings so they can fly according to the wings.
yeah, yeah. They are more compact. Yours are long and smooth, and ours are sort of basically they're a oversized lizard.
What's that? Like you said, like elephant. It's huge. So have you seen this kind of winged dragon in your image or as your friend, or how do you experience them?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I experienced them having. I've seen them
Mm.
physically with my eyes,
All right.
and but that's more of a rarity. So I've seen them more when I go on shamanic journeys, or if I'm in meditation, or if I've
Mm.
done some breath work. So it's more in a spiritual sense that I've seen them.
Mm.
So less a physical, but I have seen one physically as well.
Physically, do you
Mm.
want to talk about how did you see it physically? That sounds really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it was way back in April 2017,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm the human to a horse, and I was out riding on the horse, and I was going for a normal ride. We normally go this ride every week,
Mm.
and for some reason she wouldn't go past the field that we normally go through, So I was like, okay, maybe she's seen something. Maybe the clouds have spooked her. So we went the long way. We went for our hack, which basically means go for a horse ride, and we
Mm-hmm.
galloped across the fields, and then we came back, and we had to go past this same field, but she wouldn't. She wouldn't go past it. So
Oh,
she was afraid. I could tell she was afraid, and she's a big, powerful horse,
mm,
never afraid of anything. So I was like, must be something there. I'd been studying Reiki by then, and I had a bit of a feeling for energy. So I was like,
mm.
what's there? So I asked, like, what's there? And I thought maybe I should ask with a bit more passion. So I was like, when you like get your courage, and I was like, who's there?
Oh,
And I was watching, thinking, I hope no one's watching me asking who's there. I'm talking to an empty space. And then there was a shimmer, and I saw, like you saw in that picture, that a tail, and I was like, what's that? And then it went up to a hind leg, and then it went to a body, and then by this time I'm thinking, oh, what's this? It's a huge lizard. Then I saw a wing, then a front leg, then a neck, and then this head and this eye looking at me. And there was like a millisecond where I was like, oh, it's a dragon, and my brain was like, I've lost the plot. My horse by this time has realised, oh, it is a dragon, or it's something that's going to eat me. And she just wanted to run away, so she did a U-turn and started to
oh,
gallop away. I managed to hold on and not fall off, but I could feel it, and I was like thinking, what's this dragon want? And all I heard in the back of my head was like, I'm watching you.
oh God.
I was like, whoa. But it shimmered, and it was see-through.
Oh, see.
And in past, now, more recently, I've realised it was a water dragon, and it landed physically in this reality. I could see it with my physical eyes. And that was like the beginning of my journey with dragons.
Wow. So the dragon actually called you in a way.
Yeah, yeah. It's the dragon now is one of the ones that's in my sort of shamanic temple. One of the power spirits that I work with.
I see. So since then, you started to kind of research about dragons, or how do you deepen your knowledge about dragons since then?
Uh, a lot of it was literally just connecting with the dragon. So
Mm.
obviously, like most people, when you first meet a dragon, you you just think you've lost the plot. You think you've gone mad. And you're like, I'm seeing dragons. This doesn't make sense. Um, so I managed to find myself a shamanic teacher, and she works with dragons in healing.
Mm.
And so she explained to me what dragons are and how they assist humanity, how they're friendly, benevolent. They love us. They're,
Oh,
they're, they're not those beasts that we think they are. And so I first learnt about that from my shamanic teacher.
oh, your shamanic teacher is from Europe?
Yeah, she is. She's the first one was from Wales, where I know you've been
Oh,
recently,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I've worked with 5 different shamanic teachers, um, all of them sort of working with different spirit animals. Sometimes lions, jaguars, elephants, and quite a few of them with dragons.
I see. That's such a dramatic encounter with dragon.
It's powerful. It changes your life. How about yourself? Did you ever meet any dragons?
I've been playing with dragon since my baby, and it I didn't really see them like that. Maybe I see them in a different way.
Hmm.
Like many people see the dragon as the shape of the cloud. Like
Yeah,
they create the dragon shape using the cloud in the sky. But when I first saw the dragon, it was more like I've been friend with the dragon since I'm in mother's womb, because
hmm,
I've been working as a shaman already in my mother's womb and creating my protective boundary around me and all sorts, and starting to talk to spirits already. So when I'm born, it was quite shocking because I just couldn't walk and it's very limited and I was really stressed and I was crying every day because I was living in the mountain without my parent but with my grandparent who are farmers who left me in the house while they are in the farms, because there was some tragic accident in the farm, so they couldn't take the baby to the farm. So I was there, and then the dragon comes to me to soothe me and take me on their back and just take me around to see the world and just understand that this is human life and you have to wait, because I was never born awakened before this lifetime. I was shaman in many lives, but I didn't born as a awakened person, so I didn't have to deal with such stress of being small, not being able to do sort of things and that. So in this lifetime, I was more with dragons than any other previous lives.
Mm.
So it's been really normal for me to be just playing with them. And I didn't call them dragon to start with because they were more like my fairy friend. Like I also played with fairies, so, but they are just big. They are just big, and I can ride them. And they are the only creatures, I mean, spiritual creatures, which can take me with them to just go around the world with somewhere in the universe. And so it's been more like a natural thing for me. So it's until in my case it was 2007
Mhm.
that they asked me to talk about them in the public, and I didn't really take it seriously, but they were serious, so I have to give a lecture. And when I was even creating the content of the lecture, I thought, well, this is just ridiculous. I thought, so I created the lecture program, and I thought it's complete ridicule. But then I announced my lecture, and it sold out in 2 minutes. So
Wow.
obviously people are interested, and those people who couldn't get into my lecture because it was only for 20 people, they were really upset, and they convinced me to do more. So that's when I started to take dragon seriously, and also I started to talk about dragons,
Mhm.
probably since 2005 on internet, and I could talk about the details of the dragon, how they do, how to approach them, that sort of thing. And at that time already, there were people who already work with dragons or who are already enchanted by dragons. Not in such a dramatic way you did, Kevin, but more like feeling the existence near them. Not like riding the horse and you stop, then there's a huge energy in front of you. That's really dramatic. But in Japan, most people experience dragon in more subtle way, like they feel it nearby and they can feel the shape. Sometimes they can touch them.
Mhm.
I can touch them and I can feel them, but it's not as visible as you have experienced. Like it's more like I was more like feeling with my body, my hands, my body, but not like wow, suddenly huge dragon looking at me. That sort of, yeah. So it's experience is quite, yeah, dramatic in what I've heard from you. Does more people in Europe and English speaking country experience a similar way like you did?
I've not met many people that have physically seen them. No, that's
That would
quite
be really
quite
special.
quite a rarity. Yeah, most people are talking about, like you're saying, that
Yeah.
they're in a meditation and they maybe see it in their third eye,
Mm.
or they dream about it, or they're doing like healings. Like a lot of people I know study Reiki, and when they first do Reiki, they start calling in their spirit guides to help them with the healing. And some they say that like a dragon, they feel a dragon energy, a bit
Mm.
like you're saying. But yeah, very few people seem to have seen them physically, which I suppose it just scares you too much because your mind just goes. I just thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
So. Mm.
I met several people in this country as well who experienced the dragon, not like you, but feeling the presence or in their third eye or in the dreams. and they said they thought they're crazy because took it for they took it seriously. Like they
Yeah.
started to work with dragon because it for them it's real because they work with them and things happen like what as I have experienced. But when they come up like it did to you, so when the dragon looked at you, did it actually say something like ask you something to do, or
Well,
did it come
when
just
when when that when that dragon landed, back in April 2017, it was literally, it appeared. My horse was afraid, so wanted to run away. And as my horse turned, I just felt it like, I'm watching you. That's all I got, and,
oh,
that was it. And then when I went back, it wasn't there. So I didn't work with the dragons then. I just thought I'd gone crazy. I thought I'd been working too hard. So I didn't mention it to anyone. I didn't.
um,
I kept it. I told my wife, and I told my coaches at the time, and they looked at me as if I was mad, because they weren't very spiritual or didn't believe in the
right.
mystical beings. And it
um,
wasn't until I met the shamanic teacher that she
mm,
was talking about dragons, and I shared the whole story, and she was like, that's the dragons coming in to tell you that they want something. So I then went on the shamanic journeys, and I found my small dragon team. So I found 3 dragons that wanted to work with me as a healer. So that's how they first came in. And I asked them, like everyone that meets dragons, like, what are dragons? Why are dragons? What are they doing? Are they friendly? Are they scary? So I asked them. I said to them, who are dragons? And this is what they said to me. That they said, I wrote it down the other day, and I've put it in a book called Fly with Dragons. They said,
mm,
we are source beings of pure light. We have always been. As source beings, we're not limited by your earth-time paradox. We
mm.
exist in the sense that you do. However, we roam through all realities, realms, dimensions, and existences. At this moment in time, we are here to assist your sister, your mother, whom you call Earth or Gaia. They said, we helped create her and all life, and are here to assist her in this moment as she needs.
Oh my god.
And then they said, we have always been allies, us dragons, with your kind. Over time you forgot us, and some of you belittled us, as you do all magic. And then they said, that magic is real, and that they are what we would call magic. And it said that one day we will see dragons and magic in the same way that we see breathing. It's just something that happens, and we do.
Mm.
And they said they want us humans to remember them, and they said, come fly with us, and but be back to that unity. And
Yes,
I was like, wow.
yeah, that's exactly what they are. Oh my god. It's exactly the same dragons I work with because they were us in the
Mm,
first place before we become human. They're already there and they were part of us, but we were divided so
yeah,
we can come into this third dimensional world because most of us didn't come from this world. And
mm,
in order to have this third dimensional life of incarnation, we had to divide that eternity out from us. And that became dragons.
yeah,
So they are dragons who exist like that already. And they are also dragons who are just coming from the other world into this realm at the moment. So it's amazing that your dragons are exactly the same ones that I work with because they are exactly as you have explained. It's so exciting to just see that we share the same dragons,
hmm yeah.
being west and east. They are all the same being. I finally got to know hearing your story, and it's really exciting. So, how long did it take since you saw the dragon and till you see the teachers who really confirmed your experience. And is that the moment when you started to be interested in spiritual world?
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of interested in the spiritual world because through the horses,
Um,
one of the people was doing some healing. I was like, she was grooming the horse without touching it. I was like, what are you doing? She said, I'm doing Reiki. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I started to get into to Reiki, and that opened my spiritual eye, so to say. And I think it's because I opened my spiritual eye, my dragons came down, the water dragon came down, I think to sort of like wake me up and say, you've got a soul mission. I'd never heard of soul missions, but at that point it was like, you've got a soul mission. I was like, okay, and what's my soul mission? and I heard that I should learn healing modalities, and but so it was at least 2 years after the dragon landed that I sort of found someone that could explain why I'd see a dragon, and what their energy was. But it was from then on, so from 2019 onwards, I studied Reiki and Rahani celestial energy healing, and then went into shamanism. And shamanism just called me because it was the connection to the dragons, to all of the other power animals, the lions, the tigers, the ogres, so many different power animals that are in my shamanic temple now that all help with different areas of healing. And that's where I changed my life completely, because before that I'd been in corporate information technology, working in computers, and I was like, hold on a second, my soul wants something that's more fulfilling. So yeah, that used to pay the bills, but my soul was withered. And I think the dragon came into like, it's time to change. It's time to do something that lightens up your soul. And I found that the healing modality and learning all of those skills over the last, what's that, how many years, 5 or 6 years, that really has made me who I am. And I left the corporate job, and I've been doing full-time healing and energy healing with the dragons now for sort of 3 years. And it's beautiful.
Wow, so the dragon really transformed your life by
Oh, yeah.
by meeting them. Mm. So how do you contact dragon?
Hmm.
How do you contact dragon? For example, I will contact dragon because I have also the previous life working with dragon, and I also refer to that knowledge. But I calls upon the dragon, and they will come.
Hmm.
And there are dragons who are friends, really close friends with me, but I can call the other dragons to help other people, or work as a light worker. So when I go to some places to cleanse the
Mm.
area, or to heal the land, or heal the spirit, natural spirit, to do all sort of shamanic work, as well as all sort of planetary grid work. I work with dragon. As you said, they are beyond dimensions. They are transcendental, so they can go beyond time, and they can do such a big job in a very short time. So with the vision of working certain scale, working
Mm.
in a certain scale, they can help. They can help me, and without their help, I can't do my work. So it's really essential. So that's how I call dragon. Or sometimes they will come when I'm just feeling sad and depressed. They will just come to just say, "What are you doing? And why don't you remember who you are and what you need to be doing?" That sort of
Mm.
thing. So I will, I would call them when I need them for my work, and I wouldn't call them, but they would come when I need them. How do you contact dragons yourself? Do you contact them?
Yeah, I mean, for me, in the early days, to
Mm.
contact the dragons, I had to sort of go through a ritual. So often it would be a case of playing my drum and going on a shamanic journey to an alternative realm. So in shamanism, we've got the upper, the middle, and the lower realms. And I used to find that if I went to the lower realms, it was easier for me to see the dragons with like my third eye. Um,
Oh.
so that's what I used to do in the early days, and as the more and more and more I did that, the easier it became to meet the dragons. And now, for me, they're here the whole time. You know, they're if I think it, they're here. But that took years of going through the rituals and building up the trust, I suppose, and my frequency. But now, if I want the team that I work with, the three of them, as Agatha, Sophia, and Georgie, the three of them, they're like straight away they're there. And then other dragons that maybe I'm doing a healing and I feel like, oh, there's a dragon that wants to come in. The person I'm healing has got a dragon and they want to come and help them. Then that's more of a ritual. So it's more of me sort of putting in protection in place, maybe lighting a candle, and maybe going on a shamanic journey to one of the lower or upper realms, playing the drum, and then it sort of takes a little while for the dragon to trust, I suppose, me, and figure out why I'm calling them. Yeah, and
So it
often in
is more about
meditation.
a meditation.
Yeah, sometimes every morning I'll do a meditation and I do some breath work, and it's not so much. It's a bit like you're saying. I don't necessarily call the dragon, but a dragon will come in, and I'm like, oh, hello, who are you? And they'll just come in and say, oh, I'm so and so dragon. And it's like, oh, that's beautiful. And then you just get to meet the dragons. Most of the dragons I meet are of the earth, and I know many other
Oh
people
yeah.
that meet
Oh.
cosmic dragons.
Yeah,
Most
yeah,
of the dragons that I find are earthbound. They're connected to Gaia, and I think it's my role to work with them. Other people work with cosmic and galactic dragons, lots of different modalities. Like for me, most of mine are normally come from the earth. So like if I go to Glastonbury, there's a dragon there I meet. I go to into nature, and there's some stone circles on Dartmoor. It's a big national park. Those stone circles have been there for 5,000 years, and there's huge power in them. If I go to them, I can call in the dragon of the land, and I'll often see a big green dragon that will come in if I sit within the stone circle. Yeah, it's once you connect with them, a bit like yourself, they're just there almost immediately.
Right. So maybe it is about preparing us to resonate with them, so we converse in that resonation
Yeah.
format. And that is something like trust.
Mm. Yeah.
Because I help people to connect with dragon, and what I do in the preparation is I heal them for about 8 days. Heal the person for 8 days, healing their previous lives, healing their fear of transcendental nature, and I help them to go beyond the dimension where they can meet dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And once they accustomed to just meet them in that higher dimension, then they create that bond in
Yeah.
that realm. And as they develop that bond in that realm, they will gradually develop it in this third dimensional realm as well, as you have just explained. Then they will just come.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to call them, but they will just come. And because it's almost like they become part of us, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't really call them. I'm doing certain work and already dragons are around me and they know what to do even without me telling them, I want you to go to this place, I want you to go to this place. They will know as if they're part of my consciousness. They will know and just go. And they will in healing as well. Probably you do the same.
Mm-hmm.
But when I sometimes send dragons to my clients, especially when they cannot come to me, or especially when they are not ready to arrange a session, I will I will call the dragon and let them go to them so they can actually change the situation quite dramatically. Like dragons so powerful, they can cleanse the area, they can cleanse the negativity, they can also heal them and guide them into the light. As you have mentioned, their nature is light and transcendental uh, nature that help people to not to attach to something, but
Mm-hmm.
be free and be more open with
Yeah.
their identity and possibilities. So yeah, so that's how you call the dragon and how I call the dragon. So there is a journey of developing trust in order to call that way. But as you have mentioned, maybe uh, in the initial or in the beginning, they might need to travel to the higher dimension to create the bond better there. So they become more accustomed to and allowing part of us to become part of them, maybe like unity with the dragons, as it was when when this world began. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true. That's beautiful. And often people say there's this term dragon rider,
Mm,
and I think you've explained it very well. For me, when you're a dragon rider, you don't necessarily sit physically on the dragon, though sometimes you can, but often it's more a case of you become one. You and the dragon become one in this reality when you're healing something,
mm,
or like you say, if you go on a journey somewhere, then you become one with them. And I think for me, when the dragons say to me, find our riders, they're not sort of saying we want someone sitting on our back necessarily. They're more talking about that connection, that bonding. It's almost like a soul connection, isn't it? You have the
mm.
human soul and then the dragon soul that are part of the same modality above. Yeah.
Yeah, that is, I mean, the dragon help us to remember who we really were in the beginning before
Mm.
becoming human or before we are limited.
Yeah.
We are moving towards that unlimited eternity of being through this time of ascension. So I think they come to connect with people more at this time, like they called you to help them to be known to people and help them to know that their potential and their good side and their light.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting for Dragon Light. Also, I teach Dragon Light to people, and Dragon Light is important part of connection
Hmm.
because once they are connected by my healing of 8 days or something, they will finally meet the dragon at the higher realm. And what I ask them to do in the first place is to ride the dragon with their body. I help them how to get onto the dragon and how where to hold on to. And they
Beautiful.
actually feel it. And as they travel like at a light speed and they actually merge into dragon as they ride. So riding the dragon actually helps the connection
Mm.
because what people experience riding on the dragon is they will never fall. They
Mm.
are safe on dragon. It's such a safe feeling that I am completely safe and protected in here, and they can go as anywhere they want to go. The dragon will take you as if they understand what you want almost psychically, like you don't really have to tell them where to go, but they will take you where you need to go. The place your soul needs healing, and that sort of place they will take. So dragon light is really, in a way, very important step for us to connect to the dragon, so we can call them anytime and create a connection to just live our mission. For example, I've been training dragons, the cosmic ones.
Hmm.
I know there are earth dragons who are already trained because they come through the planet Sirius and there are a lot of training before they come to this planet. So they are already the earth dragon connected to Gaia, but they are cosmic dragon, galactic dragon, as you mentioned, and they don't have such training. So they don't know how to work with. So they sometimes kind of they want to be part of it because they are part of us as well. So last year I trained about 20,000 of dragon, maybe I don't know the number, but in India, and I thought dragons will train dragons, but they don't. So because I had so much previous life of working with dragon, I managed to create a grid system in the backwater area in Kerala in India to help dragon to uh, almost familiarize with water first, which is most important element to dragon in this planet. Then I took them to the mountain, and there comes the thunderstorm, and they are in the thunderstorm. They learn how it works in this planet. and how the wind works, rain and water, everything is connected. That sort of training. So then they become. The purpose of this training is to help dragon to work with person. I know the dragons are really free creatures. They don't really attach to one person, even though we can become friends. But they are not. We work with different dragons. But these dragons I trained, they are trained to work with one person in this planet, and they work to help the person to achieve what they need to achieve as a star seed.
Mm.
So the mission of Starseed is really huge. It's to help this whole galaxy, whole universe, to open up somebody. It's not easy because they are completely limited. They are earthbound people. So those dragons, what they're trying to do is to unlimit the person to really remember why they come to this planet. What was their true spiritual mission in this planet, which is at such a big scale of the universe. And when they remember their mission, they become more grounded onto this planet, and they will also live the very grounded human life, as well as connected with the universe and the other stars. And so there are such dragons recently. Not only the dragons that I have trained, but I believe there are more and more dragons coming in to this planet to work with people, mainly to open us up, like the dragon you met helped you to transform your life and open up to your mission. I
Mhm.
think there are more and more dragons coming to help us open up in this planet. What do you think about that, Kevin?
I think that makes complete sense. That the more people I meet that are meeting dragons, and they're doing huge things with their life. There's lots of people that are sort of stuck in those corporate jobs that don't want to be it anymore. I mean, I was on a call recently with a lady that she only met her dragon in August last year, but
Mm.
she's now met 100 of them, and
Oh,
she's
wow.
teaching people that the dragons are connected to crystals. There's a whole bunch of crystals on the earth, and there's a dragon for each one. So yeah, definitely, I'm seeing that a lot. That when a dragon comes into your life, it's asking you to wake up from your sort of 3D reality and ascend and become fully yourself rather than just sort of a cog. Actually become something that shines a light and is bright and powerful and gets you to be the ultimate version of yourself, really. So yeah, I agree that the dragons are here to assist us. All those stories of the past we need to forget.
Yeah, I don't know why these stories are born, but maybe there are some, I don't know, some plan to just help us disconnect it from them, because the dragons are giving us the power which may some people do not want us to have.
Yeah.
But I think basically, yeah, I think that I shouldn't really talk about them, but there are people maybe who wanted to limit us to not to take so much power with.
Hmm.
And when I started to teach dragons, I attracted many people who wanted the power, but they misunderstood the idea of power. I think the power is something to just make you open to help others. Like it's not like you are trying to help others, but being naturally who you are, you already help others in the most natural way. And I think dragons are giving us such power so we can do that. I think it is just helping us to release the fear, or just those limitations, this imprinted limitation of you can't do that. It's too much for you. You are just human. That is going to be just become meaningless
Mm.
when we are working with dragons, because they help us to transcend in the most elegant way, like most grounded way. It's not like it is magical, but it is not like these strange, scary, wobbly magic, but it is more like real magic.
Yeah.
It helps people to live and makes people happy and help people to be grounded. and really live rather than hallucinating. So it is really real things that are happening with dragon, and the dragon itself is giving us the power not to be hallucinated or not to be deluded, but to be really real and live our real life with this transcendental power and wisdom that we can have, which may have been restricted for a long, long time from human being.
Yeah, I think you're right. That whatever the power was, something restricted her. Something. Same with, for example, the example of the witches. The witches all got burnt, didn't they? That
Yeah.
there's certain powers that want to have all the power, and didn't want everyone to be able to have the power.
Mm.
So yeah, it has been restricted, and I think the star seeds are waking up, the dragons are waking up,
Yeah.
and the power is coming back to the individuals, which is
Mm.
beautiful. I'm sure there'll be people trying to stop us and all the rest of it, but the dragons are there to assist that ascension and do it smoothly without any pain, without war, without any those sort of things. Just because it all starts with the individual, doesn't it? And if you've got some dragons assisting you, that just gives you the courage to face up to all of your fears and for you to become the ultimate version of yourself.
Mm. So the benefit of working with dragon, benefit of knowing dragon and connecting dragon, I think it's for us it's really clear, but for people to know more about dragon, what do you think would be your message to people?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I believe all of us have a dragon that wants to assist us. I believe that our souls have been connected with that dragon
Mm.
through all of our soul journeys. Whether you believe that you get reincarnation or not, but your soul has been around forever, and your soul is incarnated physically in this body, and the dragon has always been connected to you, and it's wise, it's courageous, it has deep wisdom. So
Mm.
many times in our lives we face things that our human brain just wants to not face. So on those occasions, if you've got a dragon friend, a guide that's got the wisdom and the courage, that if you let them into your heart and let them live with you, in you, you can actually feel the courage of that. Imagine yourself with this big powerful creature, this spirit. Imagine that's within you, and you can actually embody that. And that's what I do whenever there's something scary happening. If I'm going to go on a call like this and I'm thinking I'm talking to lots of people, or I'm running a class and my human's going, oh, this is scary, then I just ask my dragon to lend me the courage to be within me, and I can then be the dragon. And I think if you've ever got times where you're fearful, you're afraid, or you've got anxiety, you can call on your dragon, and it will give you the courage to face that. And we all have times where we have adversities. We have times where life is difficult, and the fact that
Mm.
you've got a friend that's got your back, loves you unconditionally. They completely, like a dog, they love you completely unconditionally. They want to look after you, and like you were saying, that when you've got those days where you're feeling a bit down, that your dragon will just come in and curl itself around you and cuddle you and hold
Mm.
you and say good things to you. Because sometimes our brains, they fire all the bad things in our lives, all the bad things we've done, all the memories come back. You can just call your dragon in and say, please help me with this. Please help me a bit be more positive today. Help me get through this day, this week, this month, however long it is. But yeah, for me, having a dragon in your corner is the ultimate. It's the most powerful thing you can have.
Indeed, yeah. When they come, things become my problem look so small,
Mm.
and they are always so playful. Like they don't really care about my problems. Like, why you are here, and they just, as you said, they are just coil around and they just pray through me and in and out. And why don't you come and pray with us? The world is big, and you are just in this small place looking at the little thing. But
Mm.
if you come out and just look down, there's a whole world. and we belong to the world. That sort of message, like they always let me open up my mind, open up my awareness to include the world in my life. I think that's what dragons always do. And also because I'm not very good with paranormal phenomenon, even though I'm living with paranormal phenomenon. And I don't want to be flying myself, but sometimes dragon catch me and I fly with them physically. And I don't know if you have done it with dragons, but I fried with dragons several times, like not completely flying, but like a huge step, huge jump to place. So I touch the ground once in a while. So I'm not really flying, but I'm just jumping, and that's sort of fun, giving creature. Like it just help us to remember we can do whatever we want to. That wanting will become really sacred and really spiritual when we really are allowed, when we are really allowed to want something for real, when it is really real, and when with the power of dragons, everything seems possible. And wonderful thing is when people are allowed that wild dream come true, their dream would be really sacred. It wouldn't be really egoistic when they are really, really allowed. Their dream will be really loving and helping others. And that's natural human being, natural human nature. And dragon, I think, is helping us to have to access to the true nature of us, rather than I want to keep this money to myself, or I want to make some more money, and that's such a little thing. But if you're really, the money doesn't really do much, but if you're really, really allowed to do something without any limitation, whatever you would want to ask would be really beautiful. And I think the connections to dragon really allow us to open up that awareness of our beautiful nature. Like, if we are so powerful, what do we do? And we do most beautiful things. We don't conquer the world. We will create the world instead. That sort of nature, I think dragon is trying to help us develop by being their friends. So I think that's for me the benefit of connecting to dragon. It can be starting with really personal egoistic motive to start with, but they will take us to such space where your motive is pure and beautiful, and you just become so happy just wishing such thing. And when you manage to wish that thing, that happens instantly. That sort of magic, I think dragon is helping us to experience in our life. So I really want people to be connected to dragon in that way. And I didn't really think about it because they were my friends from the beginning, and I didn't really think about people who didn't have friends at such as dragons, because it was not special for me. But I think it is very special now. And do you think anybody can contact dragons? I mean, without any help, like it happened to you, but maybe you are the chosen one. And do you think such thing could happen to people?
Yeah, I mean, I asked the dragons that myself, and I said, "Can anyone connect with you?" And they were like, "Yes, they can." They said humans just have lots of limitations and lots of thoughts that we don't exist. We're just something in a cartoon, or we're something that was written in a book. They said so their frequency is too low to truly
Oh
connect
yeah,
with us.
that's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah. So they said if they raise their frequency, which literally is just to start with, is believing that we exist and knowing we exist, then that will raise them above most of humanity, and then we're available to connect with them. So yes, they can, but you have to get past the limitations.
right.
Like you teach
Yeah.
people over 8 days, don't you? So you're clearing all the limitations.
Yeah.
I believe yes, but
Mm.
it's not. It's not extremely easy because the humans limit themselves a lot.
That's what I have discovered when I try to connect people with dragons. I first try to connect people with dragon without that development, and
Hmm.
it didn't work.
Yeah.
People can't really feel their nature.
Mm.
So what I started to do is to really take care to develop their vibration,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of developed a higher dimensional consciousness where they can actually meet the dragon's vibration and dragons. So it's been a journey because at that time, I mean, when I started to train people, not everybody is wanting to go beyond dimension because, for example, I teach telepathy,
Mm-hmm.
and when I tell people that I teach telepathy, and that's really comfortable and easy because you don't have to talk. But people who wouldn't go beyond the dimension would say, and they actually said, but I don't want people to know what I'm thinking. And I was really shocked. Why? Because they believe they are not good enough. They are really limited. Their self-esteem is quite low at the spiritual level. They think if people know what they're thinking, people will hate them.
Mm.
But it doesn't actually happen. So people are scared to
Yeah.
go beyond to that dimension because people are become visible, and that's why I have to do like 8 days of healing work before they get to the place, because I have to heal them so much
Mm.
so they will be free to explore and free to connect with others at that level. So yes, indeed, it is everybody can connect with dragon, but actually you have to be ready to be open up and go beyond the dimension towards a bit upwards, so you can connect with the consciousness, because the consciousness is quite high dimension, over fifth dimension indeed. So if you don't go beyond that dimension, even if they are just next to you, you wouldn't be able to feel it. That's the thing, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why whenever I do, I take people on a shamanic journey. So normally there's a lead up. I relax people, so they're almost in a meditative state, almost hypnotized,
Mm.
and we go to the lower realms. And the fact that we leave. I tell people to leave their physical body,
Mm.
their mind, and I get them to imagine that their free soul leaves their body, and we go on a journey, and I
Oh.
take their soul, their free soul, the one that can wander away from the body but still is attached, and I take them to the lower realms, and that helps people get past the human limitations. But still, people have
Mm.
problems. Lots of people like, oh yeah, I didn't see anything, or I didn't really leave my body, or they don't want to leave their body. They're afraid that their soul's going to not come back, and
Okay.
there is
Mm.
a lot of fear, isn't
Yeah.
there, in people?
Fear.
It's true. Fear is one of the biggest things that humans have, and I think
Mm.
that's probably why we see dragons as those scary things. That kept us in fear, so we never raised our vibration enough to actually to meet them and see them.
Mm.
But more and more people are waking up to it, aren't they? More and more people
Yeah.
are getting to that vibration that the
Mm.
dragons could come in and say hello, which
I
is
think
good.
our spirit and our soul are wanting to be awakened at
Mm,
this time, and more people having spiritual emergency and asking
yeah.
for help because they are scared to go beyond, but they are already going beyond anyway, so they have to take it. So I think the time is really getting there
Mm.
for everybody to be ready to connect to dragons to some extent. So I think it's gonna be really exciting time from now on, that we have more job to do to connect people with dragons.
We have indeed.
Oh, it's so nice to talk to you, Kevin, and discuss about West and East images of dragon, but they are actually the same thing. I realized by chatting with you.
Yeah, it's just that we're seeing them our culture has given us an image of them in a different way, but the true spirit of them is the same. In the same way that we look different. I've got grey hair and a beard, and you've got gorgeous dark hair, and you know, different colour skins, but we are the same. We're at the spirit level, we're the same, and
Mm.
I think that's the same with the dragons, isn't it? They're the same whatever culture. They just look different to our eyes.
Mm. Wow. Just by imagining the dragons going around the world, connecting all the people, really sounds amazing. Mm.
Yeah, I think we need. I think I need to get on my dragon and come fly around the world. I need to go and visit your parts of the world
Oh
and meet the
yeah.
dragons. That'd be beautiful,
Yeah.
wouldn't
Maybe we can travel around the world and teach people that let's go together and connect with dragons. I'm an alchemist, so I can do all sorts of things with people. It's not magic, but I can help with healing as well as alchemy.
it? Hmm.
Maybe it can be really exciting that we go around the world together one day, just visiting different countries, including Japan. Maybe starting with Japan and you have those Japanese influences and go around the world together. That can be exciting one day.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Well, I am going to Japan this summer, but I go there all the time. So, yeah, if you're willing to come with me one day, or if you're willing to visit Japan one day, we can just sort out some workshop in Japan and visit different places in Japan one day.
Sounds like a plan to me. Yeah, my soul says yes.
Yes, maybe this summer. Maybe maybe that's too early, but we can plan to do that. You're busy with Dragon Summit this year, but we
Yeah,
can
we
plan
can
to do that.
plant. We can plant the seed.
Yes, plant the seed. Okay, thank you so much, Kevin. It was such a enjoyable talk today. I almost forgot about yeah, the plans and just having chat with you. But that was so. It's for me. It's really healing because I could share my experience with you. Like your experience really resonate with my experience, and I really appreciate that I met you and that we are connected to dragon and somehow dragons are giving us same messages, so that really make me feel about the oneness which is facilitated by these dragons, and that's really fantastic today. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you very much, and it's beautiful as well because I was all of my talks I've been talking to people that are only in Europe and America, and
Oh,
I said, what about the East? There must
yeah.
be some dragons in the East. There must be some people in the East, and then the dragons connected us, and yeah, beautiful synchronicities. And
Mm,
it's beautiful to talk to you and listen to your stories and hear the connection and see, like you say, the synchronicities that
mm.
we are. It is the same. It's the same group of beings that we're working with.
Amazing. Wow, I can feel the blessing from dragon just came down to me now, maybe to you as well.
Mm.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank
And I
you.
think we can do such talk again, maybe in Dragon Santa talk or whatever opportunity is. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.